Hi, Tiffany Johnson here with OnlineBusinessManager.com. I am Tina Forsythe's Online Business Manager, as well as the Training Manager for the Online Business Manager Certification Training. Today I want to talk to you about empowering your virtual team, motivating versus delegating. See, as online business managers, it's our role to manage the team. And let me clarify, your client is actually part of the team. So it's our role to really manage every element of the team. You know, there's a saying that says that the chain is only as strong as its weakest link, right? Well, I just want to say that our team is really only as strong as our weakest ability or our weakest dynamic in the team, okay? And that's not to say go out and fire a VA that didn't get it right last week or anything bad, okay? This is a developmental article today, or developmental video. It's about looking at how we can create and develop better morale and better productivity on our team, okay? It's important as OBMs that we understand our role as being the leaders of the business. We are the leaders. It's our job that we take ownership of developing the team around us. The leader should be the inspiration of the team, right? It should be our job to inspire. As a matter of fact, the business really should function on our ability to create wind under each person, our ability to create inspiration and motivation under each team member to ensure that they're enjoying the work they're doing, that they are empowered to do great work for the business that we serve, okay? So how do we do this, ultimately? You know, we need to understand the difference between delegating and motivating, right? Motivating someone is all about inspiring them to show up in their business as who they want to be. A lot of times when we're dealing with virtual assistants or we're dealing with our clients or we're stuck in the day in and day out just getting things done in the business, we're really so focused on the task and what needs to be accomplished that we kind of bypass that whole leadership role of motivating people. But if we motivate someone, if we really get to know what their desires are, what their goals are, what they want to accomplish in their business, in their life, personally, spiritually, mentally, whatever's happening, if we really take the time, and yeah, it's a time thing. And as online business managers, you know what? We're flying in 100 different directions, and quite frankly, we don't always want to take the time. But if we will take the time to develop the people around us, to know what their goals are, to ensure that everything that we're doing is helping them create the life that they want to create, be able to fall into line with the goals that they have for their life and for their business, then ultimately we can motivate them to do better work for us. You know, for example, with Tina, I know what's on her yes list. And her yes list meaning I know what she wants to prioritize and be doing day in and day out in the business. So because I know what's on her yes list and I know what her goals are on her yes list, then when something comes up and she kind of gets into the details, which she can do sometimes because she's brilliant. She was an online business manager. She wrote the book. She was the first one. She's brilliant with the details. So sometimes when she pulls into the details, you know, I have to kind of reroute the conversation or reroute the priorities that maybe she's looking at. And I do this kind of subtly. She may be watching this video going, I didn't know you did that. But it's because I know what her goals are. And I know that her goals are not to be in the day in how of the business, but for her to really be able to stay focused on the what. What are we going to create next? What's coming on? What's the vision? What are we doing? And so for her, motivating her as a part of the team, even though she's my client, as a part of the team, motivating her is really being able to keep her on the big picture and keep her focused on the big picture so that really feeds what her goals are and what's on her yes list, okay? So, and with a VA, we have to do the same thing. If you have virtual assistants on your team, you know, you want to know what their goals are. You want to know what empowers them, what really motivates them, and be able to help them with that, encouraging them beyond the efforts of the business even. You want to encourage them in, their personal development or their business development. I like to see it as sowing seeds, okay? We're going to sow seeds of encouragement, and then every time we talk to them, we're going to water those seeds. So if they tell you, hey, you know what, we're building on to our house. Well, great. When you talk to them the next time, you just want to take a moment to water into that. Hey, how's the building onto the house coming along? Are you loving it? Are you hating the process? What are you thinking? Take 5 minutes and develop that relationship with that person, okay? And I hope that you can see the difference between motivating people than just delegating a task to them. See, when you're motivating someone, you actually take the time to care, first and foremost, about what it is that they're accomplishing in their lives, and care about how they feel about the work that they're doing. You want to motivate their feelings towards the work that they're doing with you to be feelings of love. You want them to just love and be passionate about the work that they're doing with you. You want them to feel valued in the work that they're doing with you. You want them to know that you value them in the work that they're doing with you, okay? So when we delegate, a lot of times we can just get caught up, and like I said earlier, in the day in and day out task. And so we'll be like, okay, we need this done, we need this done, we need this done. All right, I'll talk to you next week. Or we shoot off an email that says, hey, I need this, this, and this. And we didn't take a moment to say, how's your day? And I know that it may seem like, okay, really, do I have to have a relationship with all these people? Do I really have to care? I'm paying them to do a job. They just need to do the job they're paid for. I get it. I understand. But honestly, after having talked to so many potential online business managers, and many of them coming from virtual assistant industry and even from corporate industry, the number one complaint I get, both from virtual assistants and from those coming in from the corporate world, is they don't feel valued. They don't feel like what they're bringing to the table really matters to anyone. And that they're, that no one really appreciates what they're doing, their commitment level, how hard they're working, their expertise or their experiences, that nobody really values that, honors that. And so if you want to motivate your team, then you want to show them that you value that and you honor that, and you have to do that by getting to know them, by taking the time to motivate them according to what their goals are. And when you do that, you will always, always end up with people who are excited to do great work for you, okay? So I have a couple of ways that I think that you can effectively help motivate your team, okay? One way is to communicate clearly expectations and encouragement. When we do not communicate clearly our expectations, we rob our teammates of the ability to support us, right? So it's very important that when you have a new task or when you have a task, that you give all of the information necessary for that task when you assign it. And honestly, I suck at this. And our team, bless their hearts, they just have to put up with me because I'm really bad at it. I tend to think that everybody thinks the way I do, and so they never get all the information they need. And my VA is brilliant at Skyping me and saying, okay, can you clarify this? But really, to empower her to do the best work she can do, I need to give her that. I need to give her everything up front, because hunting things down creates frustration, and it really puts it puts an obstacle in the way for them to be able to support me fully in what I need accomplished. So be clear when you communicate what you need. Be clear on the expectations. If you're just starting to work with somebody, create a role description. Make sure they know what is theirs in that business. What is the expectation that you have day in, day out, continually from them? Okay, have a role description for every team member on your team. Specifically when you start out with people, make sure you have that role description, okay? Encouragement. Be clear when you encourage people. Just a quick thanks is not encouragement, okay? When you want to tell someone thank you, you need to give them details. You need to tell them why you appreciate the work that they're doing. Maybe you need to say, you know, here's a list of the things that you do in this business that, quite frankly, I really am appreciative of. Because if you want to motivate people, be sincere about telling them and encouraging them, okay? Develop an attitude of ownership. This is another effective way to motivate people. Develop an attitude of ownership. Many of our team members really could do so much more than what we let them do. Their experience and their expertise could be used and utilized way more than they are. My VA yesterday sent me an email and she said, hey, do you want me to set up the broadcast and tag and all this stuff from Infusionsoft? Do you want me to do this, this, and this, and this for this particular opt-in? And I was like, man, I should have sent that to you. I mean, I jumped in and did it, but honestly, she should have, and she could have, and she was motivated to do it. You know, she was asking me about it. She wanted to do it. Our team members have a lot more to offer sometimes than what we're just, here's this task, do this, here's this task, do this. They have a lot more to offer. So if you've got a team member that likes this very detail-y, you know, maybe give them a project and a 3-hour project to go through and comb through the website and make sure all the links work and make sure the grammar's correct and make sure that all the pages are up to date with, you know, whatever the new information is. So that you're giving them something that they can take ownership of. Now you're creating an attitude of ownership, okay? Maybe you have a VA that really likes to format stuff in Word or really enjoys graphics, and you know, give them an opportunity to go grab some articles and put an ebook together. I mean, these are ways that people can take ownership, that they can kind of prove out what they bring to the table, and that will motivate them to actually do better work for the things that they're doing that maybe they don't love as much, or maybe, you know, are already processed out and there's not a lot of creativity around it. But it would give them an opportunity to implement the places that they do really feel like that they could bring to the table that they're currently not being given the opportunity to do so, okay? And then lastly, say thank you. An effective way to motivate people is to give a sincere, from the heart, thank you. Not a quick thanks, but a sincere thank you for what they do. Really appreciating them, being grateful, showing them that you're grateful, okay? This is very effective to creating and motivating your team members, even your client. You know, when was the last time you told your client, you know what, thanks for believing in me. Thank you for the work that you're putting out in the world. Thank you for caring about this community. Thank you for being a leader in our business. You know, what about your team member? Thank you for always watching my back. Thank you for covering my butt. When you give a heartfelt, genuine thank you to people, it motivates them to want to do good work with you, right? And that's so far. Now when you send a task in your virtual task, you know, virtual office, and you send a task over, they're not thinking, oh, I gotta get this done. No, Tiffany really values the work that I do. I'm gonna do great work for her. Okay? So I encourage you to show up as the leader in the business. Motivate the business owner. Motivate your team. Okay? Until next time. I went long this time. Sorry, guys. But until next time, thanks.